No, not at all, no, because, we were out there with friends and things. I knew, and I knew that William had asked, but we did become,
When Queen Camilla made an unexpected demand, Catherine's quiet grace met royal pressure head-on. But what happened next left Prince William absolutely furious, and the palace whispering about betrayal behind closed doors. The palace looked calm that afternoon, but something big was about to happen. Inside the blue drawing room, Princess Catherine stood quietly arranging white roses. That little ritual always helped Catherine stay grounded. It was peaceful, until the sharp sound of heels echoed across the marble floor. Queen Camilla stepped inside with a practiced smile, the kind that said, "This isn't just a friendly visit." Catherine turned politely, sensing tension in the air. Camilla sat down and spoke with her usual calm voice, but every word carried weight. Camilla mentioned the upcoming Japanese state dinner. Then came the real reason for the visit, the sapphire tiara. Camilla said the deep blue would match her gown perfectly and would send the right message.
But I didn't know if my mother knew, so I came back.
That single sentence changed the entire mood of the room. The George VI sapphire tiara wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was a personal wedding gift from Queen Elizabeth II to Catherine, something tied to memory, love, and family. Catherine hesitated. Camilla smiled again, gently reminding her that a united family front was important for the monarchy. The phrase sounded polite, but everyone inside those walls knew it meant one thing: obey. Finally, Catherine agreed. A soft yes escaped, even though it felt wrong. And with that one agreement, a storm began to form, one that would shake the palace to its core. After Camilla left, the room felt colder. Catherine sat quietly, staring at the vase of white roses that now looked more like reminders of surrender than peace. Every moment replayed in Catherine's mind.
It's something that I felt very passionate about.
The Queen's gentle words when gifting the tiara, the meaning behind the sapphires, the love they symbolized. Whispers soon began to flow through the palace corridors. The staff talked in secret tones. Some said Catherine gave up the tiara willingly. Others claimed she resisted until the very end. The truth didn't matter anymore. The story had already grown wings. Lady Susan, one of the few people Catherine trusted, brought a glimmer of hope. She mentioned that the tiara's insurance documents required approval from Prince William before any loan could be made. Maybe there was still a way to stop it. But that hope didn't last long. By the next morning, all approvals were mysteriously cleared. The plan moved forward as if it had been set in motion days before. Catherine realized something unsettling. Her choice had never been real. The night of the Japanese state dinner arrived, and every chandelier in the royal dining room sparkled like fire. Guests from across the world filled the space. Cameras flashed, and reporters waited for a glimpse of royal perfection. But Catherine wasn't there. Her absence was explained away as a scheduling conflict. In truth, Catherine stayed in her private room.
It's obviously such a huge topic. It wasn't as big as
the television flickering in the quiet. When the broadcast began, Catherine's heart raced. The moment arrived. Queen Camilla appeared, stepping into the grand dining hall. And there it was, the sapphire tiara. The sapphires blazed under the lights, glittering across every camera flash. Commentators praised Camilla's look, calling the tiara a piece once worn by the Queen Mother. Catherine froze. The world had just been told a lie. The late Queen's personal gift to Catherine had been publicly rewritten as a family heirloom belonging to someone else. Catherine watched the coverage in silence. The sapphires she once cherished now burned like reminders of betrayal. That night, one quiet vow formed. The tiara would return, and the truth would not be forgotten. Days later, Prince William's helicopter finally landed after weather delays. William rushed home, expecting a warm reunion after days away. Instead, he walked into silence. Catherine sat at her desk, surrounded by letters. The calm expression on her face couldn't hide the tension in the room. William sat beside Catherine, trying to start a normal conversation. Then he asked about the Japanese dinner. Catherine replied softly, saying the event went well, and that Camilla represented the family beautifully. William stopped. The words "represented the family beautifully" hung in the air like ice. Then realization struck. Camilla wore the sapphire tiara. William's tone hardened. Camilla wore the tiara? Catherine nodded. Camilla said it was necessary for the delegation. Refusal would seem uncooperative. The fury that flashed in William's eyes said everything.
Levi's guy on my wall, not a picture.
The tiara wasn't just a crown jewel, it was a personal promise from his grandmother. To see it used for publicity felt like an insult to her memory and to Catherine's dignity. William knew what needed to happen next. That evening, William began making quiet calls. Trusted staff, advisors, people who had served the family for years. Each one offered a piece of the truth. The pattern became clear. Over the last year and a half, there had been repeated requests from Camilla's office. Accessories, gowns, and personal gifts from Catherine had been borrowed for royal occasions. Every time, the explanation was the same: family duty. Each time, Catherine complied, and each time, she looked more burdened. William listened to every word, anger building with each revelation. This wasn't just about jewelry anymore. It was about respect. It was about how easily Catherine's kindness had been turned into obligation. By the end of that night, William had made up his mind. There would be a confrontation, and it wouldn't be quiet. The next morning, William requested a private meeting with Camilla at Clarence's house. No aides, no witnesses, just two people. One demand for answers. Camilla arrived right on time, smiling as if nothing had happened. She began with charm, thanking Catherine for her generosity. William interrupted. That generosity wasn't a choice. Camilla blinked, caught off guard by the direct tone. William didn't hold back. Camilla pressured Catherine into giving up a personal wedding gift. That tiara was chosen by my grandmother as a symbol of trust. It wasn't meant to be borrowed for convenience. Camilla kept her composure. She said the act was part of tradition, part of diplomacy, part of representing the crown. William stepped closer, voice firm but steady. Catherine isn't a prop for diplomacy. Catherine deserves respect, not manipulation. Camilla's tone sharpened. The jewels serve the monarchy.
It would always come with a bit of angst and a bit of anger.
William replied coldly, that tiara served my grandmother's love, not politics. The tension filled the room like static. Camilla finally declared, I am the queen. My precedence is clear. William's reply cut through the air. You are my father's wife, but you will never have the right to mistreat mine. Outside the room, staff heard the muffled exchange, and by afternoon the entire palace knew about it. By the next day, whispers filled every corner of royal life. Two versions of the story spread, one portraying Camilla as misunderstood, another portraying William as a son defending dignity. King Charles received reports of the argument. The details varied, but one truth remained. The family was divided. Catherine stayed quiet, avoiding public events, spending time with close aides. Camilla continued with her duties, determined to appear unfazed. Princess Anne tried to mediate, warning that open conflict would only harm everyone. But William stood firm. Camilla bullied Catherine into surrendering a wedding gift. That isn't duty, that's disrespect. The situation was spiraling, and it was clear only the king could bring peace. Buckingham Palace became the stage for one of the most private meetings in recent memory. Inside the gilded Regency room, King Charles sat between William and Camilla. Every detail of the setting, the polished floor, the drawn curtains, the heavy silence, carried the weight of generations. Charles started the discussion softly but firmly. The monarchy cannot survive division. This must be resolved today. William opened a folder filled with notes and evidence. Every instance of pressure, every item borrowed, every moment Catherine was cornered. William spoke clearly, without anger, but with conviction. This pattern has hurt Catherine deeply.
Wander in and save something that was...
The tiara incident was not an isolated case. It cannot continue. Camilla responded, maintaining composure. Camilla defended the actions as gestures meant to strengthen royal unity. Charles listened quietly, then raised a hand. The king's tone turned sharper. The sapphire tiara was a personal wedding gift from Queen Elizabeth to Catherine. It was never crown property. Treating it as such was wrong. The words hit the room like thunder. William felt vindicated. Camilla's expression tightened. Charles continued, establishing a new rule. Personal gifts remain private property. They can only be shared with full consent. William nodded in agreement. Then came one more request. Catherine deserves an apology. Camilla hesitated, then said in a measured voice, I regret that Catherine was distressed. It was never my intention to cause upset. It wasn't much, but it was enough for the king to close the discussion. Later that day, the sapphire tiara returned quietly to Kensington Palace. No announcements, no ceremonies. Just a small velvet case placed on Catherine's desk. Catherine opened it slowly. The sapphires caught the light, just as they had on her wedding day. Relief mixed with sadness. The tiara was back, but something inside had changed. William assured Catherine that no crown could define her worth. Together, they decided that from now on, family peace would never come at the cost of personal dignity. The palace carried on as if nothing had happened. But behind every smile at public events, everyone knew something had shifted forever. Weeks passed. Royal life returned to its careful choreography, elegant appearances, polite exchanges, and flawless photographs. But behind that image, alliances had shifted. Catherine's quiet strength earned new respect from palace staff.
Very generous of you to say it was an idea, but actually it was.
Camilla worked to maintain authority, careful to avoid further conflict. King Charles focused on restoring harmony, knowing that public unity was crucial. The tiara sparkled once again, but its meaning was no longer the same. To outsiders, it remained a symbol of beauty. To those inside the palace, it represented a silent victory and a warning. Months later, Catherine wore the sapphire tiara again during a private royal event. Cameras flashed, commentators praised the elegance, and headlines celebrated the return of royal grace. Only a few people knew the deeper story behind those sapphires, the tension, the courage, and the moment that redefined royal boundaries. William watched from across the room, admiration in every glance. The tiara now symbolized resilience, not rank. The palace learned an unspoken lesson that season. Jewels may shine in the light, but true strength shines in silence and integrity. Every family, even royal ones, faces battles between duty and heart. Camilla fought for image. Catherine fought for respect. William fought for truth. The question that lingers is simple. Who was right? Should duty always come before emotion? Or does real leadership mean standing up for what's right, even when tradition says otherwise? Let's talk about it below. Whose side deserves understanding? Camilla's pursuit of unity, or William's defense of dignity? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to watch the next royal story, the moment that changed everything once again. Because in the palace, peace always comes with a price.